Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Rhinebeck Central School District Board of Education special meeting.
It is special.
It's Tuesday, April 24th, 2018, and I'm calling the meeting to order. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 17th?
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections, amendments, discussion? All those in favor? Okay, well, that's 5 of us. That motion passes. Welcome to all the members of the public who are here this evening. We have a moment for public comment now, if anyone wishes to say anything.
My name is Susan Volan. I'm a special education teacher in the high school, working primarily with 10th graders in resource room and teaching a self-contained Algebra A and/or Algebra B section. I'm also the Cluster 2 chair, which includes special education, physical education, foreign language, health, and English as a new language. This is my 23rd year teaching in Rhinebeck High School and my 40th year in the profession. After teaching in a prison, a residential drug treatment facility, a private progressive day school, and at a college. I'm speaking tonight because of something that occurred at the last board meeting that highlighted the dilemma that teachers face. We are all here, teachers, support staff, administrators, board members, to educate and cultivate citizens who will maximize their potential, develop a love of learning, and who will contribute to society in a meaningful way. On a daily basis, the teachers are the front lines of this effort, which requires a deep understanding of teaching methods and curriculum. We look out at our student population, though, and see these young learners who bring their whole self to school every day, and this is where the art of teaching comes in. Rhinebeck is careful to hire teachers who are skilled at observing, understanding, and supporting our students, no matter what they bring to the lesson of the day. The community witnesses the end product, the graduation rate, the annual musical, strong athletic teams, etc. What is invisible are the efforts of Rhinebeck teachers to truly see who these students are, what they need in order to continue to be engaged, and the extra time, the prep periods, lunch periods, time after school, and weekends that make the graduation rate what it is, that make the musical worthy of comment at a board meeting, that make Rhinebeck a notable high school. This is the dilemma. You see the product, not necessarily the efforts and process that allows these successes. So I would like to acknowledge Cynthia Baer, who was the teacher who worked with the cast and crew to create, once again, a remarkable theatrical experience for our students, parents, and community. Finally, with this statement in mind, I would like to mention that the Rhinebeck Teachers Association is 2 months away from completing a year of school without a contract. I respectfully encourage the board to find a way to negotiate a successful contract that values Rhinebeck's teachers and considers the general trends in our region as contracts are set. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comment? We appreciate you taking the time to speak to us today. All right, let's move on to reports and discussion. We have no reports. We have no discussion. Comments? Good news. Yes, Laura.
I'm just going to gloat about the Rhinebeck crew team. They are spectacular. They have the best weekend I can remember in 4 years. It was really, really, really great. All boats placed and all children were very excited. It was a great, great day.
Congratulations.
And the sun came out.
Congratulations. Congratulations to all the athletes and in fact to all of our teams who are now engaged in competition and all the athletes who are finally getting to go outdoors. Yes. Yes. Steve? No? Okay. Old business.
I have an item for old, for old business. I just wanted to update the board, especially since the Board Facilities Committee hasn't had an opportunity to meet recently on the status of our capital project. As you know, it's been up in Albany. When do we send it out?
July 1st.
Yeah. And by all reasonable expectations, we were expecting approval of that by around January. You'll also recall that at one point during the winter, I forget exactly when, given that it was hung up in Albany awaiting approval, mixed in with a glut of other projects statewide. The state offered at a cost the opportunity to go through a new process that they had implemented called a third-party review, during which for which they had set up an arrangement with a number of other architects and engineering firms to do an independent review of projects with the idea of alleviating the backlog on the state education department and hopefully speed the process along. And we had discussed that and felt that in the interest of moving the project along, we would go that route, even the additional expense notwithstanding. Well, as it turns out, the state education department actually caught up with the then backlog for the independent review, so we were actually in both queues, neck and neck. Still not approved yet, though. So we made the decision, since that they were both running neck and neck, that we would save the $26,000 it was going to cost us for the independent review and just say thanks but no thanks. We'll stick with the no extra cost state education department review. Again, as we sit here on April 24th, the project's still not approved. The bidding season is shrinking and costs are escalating because of the amount of business that's out there. We've had any number of conversations with our construction manager and with our architect, and they're thinking we might get approval in another 2 to 3 weeks. Still, even with SED. So our construction schedule is pretty much out the window. We will do some things this summer. We will not be able to do roughly half the project this summer and half the project next summer. The costs have, just generally speaking, the costs have gone out of sight. Our construction manager related anecdote to us of a project he is working on with another Dutchess County school district that shall remain unnamed, and they had a small amount of work that they were looking to do. It's going to cost about $35,000. They budgeted $50,000 just to take care of the eventuality of higher than expected bid prices. They got 2 bidders, and the bids were $75,000 and $110,000. So anyway, we're not in a good place time-wise for getting reasonable bids. So we're going to do some work. We've asked our construction manager and architect to pull some things out of the project that we could do this summer. Some of the things don't have to go to competitive bid because they've already been bid through the state bid process. For example, the safety items, the entry system, and that's all on state bids, so we will do that this summer. We don't have to worry for a competitive bid for that. There may be some other things that they can find contractors who are both quality contractors and not giving us a crazy price and are even available to do work this summer. So we'll do what we can this summer. We'll probably bid the rest of the package out in the fall. So we'll be way ahead of next year's bidding cycle, and we'll be set to do the lion's share of the work next summer, and likely have to finish it up the summer following. Again, or in any other year, we would have gotten approval in January, and this year we're sitting here almost at the start of May, and we still haven't gotten approval yet. So I just wanted to update you on the status of the project approval at the State Education Department. Let you know we will do what we can reasonably do this summer. We'll get a start on it. The lion's share of the work will have to occur next summer and likely finish up in the summer after. So just a status report, and that's it. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed, but it is what it is, and that's where we're at.
Jacqueline?
Is there anything that we can do, or parents can do, community can do, to let our legislators know, to advocate for, I don't even know how to phrase this. This just isn't right. Is there anything we can do? I realize we can't do anything about the facts before us, but to let people know that this is happening, and see if our legislators can do anything for us. It's not just us. I know it's other districts too. But this is just outrageous.
Well, I'll answer your two-part question with two parts. Can we do something? Yeah, we can complain to our legislators. We can complain to the State Education Department. Second part of your question is there anything they can do? No, nothing is going to change where we're at right now. Even with the expedited third-party review, it didn't help because of the number of projects. There are an inordinate number of capital projects sitting up in Albany in the queue to get approved. So there's a glut of approvals, and they're not going to take on additional staff to do the work for a few months. That's my opinion. They're having their own difficulties keeping engineers on staff at the State Education Department. They're finding more lucrative work working for other companies as opposed to the State Education Department. And if you know anything about state hiring, you know that state hiring has to go through all sorts of hurdles to even hire somebody. So we can complain. Whether it will make any difference.
We did complain. We went to the legislators.
Yeah. I mean,
No, I know. I was there.
Can we complain more?
But I mean, can we let them know? A follow-up, by the way, still hasn't happened.
we can. It's a.
Because if we don't, then I feel like next year they can continue the same thing, and maybe it's not going to be us, it'll be a different set of school districts. But if nobody makes a stink about it, then what stops the state from continuing to do that?
That's a point well taken.
You know, I'd like to see us submitting either a letter or another visit. I mean, probably a letter is, I don't think it necessarily makes sense to do a visit because there's no action that can be taken, but at least a letter from the board. If not, drafting something so that parents can send a letter to their to our legislators as well.
Is it the sense amongst members that a letter from the board would be appropriate?
Sure.
Yes.
Couldn't hurt.
Good.
fan of tilting against windmills.
Excellent.
I think to a certain extent we are, but we can go on record.
Go, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll draft something.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you. Any other
that's enough, I think.
old business? Okay. We have another opportunity for public comment. Anyone in the audience? Lot faster today.
My name is Victor Britton. I'm a physics teacher here at Rhinebeck, Vice President of the Teachers Association. I've been here since 1994 as a worker in the high school. I'm on the negotiations team too, and as we're rallying to pass a budget, and we're on the same side on that. Teachers work very hard. I know when I first became a teacher, it took many years before I got anywhere near the salary that I was making prior to being a teacher in the early 20s. Everyone works hard. You guys work hard. I know we can figure something out. We're just looking for something that's within the reason of the county. So thank you for your continued efforts. Looking forward to May 17th.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is made for shorter people.
It's adjustable.
That's okay, I take shortness and I embrace it. Hi, I'm Susan St. Clair, and Rhinebeck resident. I'm a teacher here in the district and a president of the Rhinebeck Teachers Association. So first, I just want to say that 100% the teachers are supporting the budget that the board has developed. We appreciate all the work that you put into it, all the thoughtfulness. And, we will be working phone banks and postcards and trying to get the yes votes out because we want to see our budget get passed and, the work that, or just respect the work that you've done. And the other thing is we're looking forward to the negotiation team. We have a meeting set up on the 17th of May. So we're looking forward to hopefully resolving our contract talks. That would be great. So see you there and we'll all go for the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. Other. Do you have any other?
No, I don't.
Other? Okay. So we're ready to move on to our action items then. May I have a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to adopt a resolution to direct the district clerk to cast one vote to approve the Dutchess County BOCES administrative budget in the amount of $4,565,785 for the 2018-19 school year?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? 6 in favor. Before I read the next few motions, I am going to read the letters we have received from 2 of the candidates who are standing for election on the Dutchess County BOCES Board of Education. The first letter is from Dale Culver, and he's asked me to share it with members of the board. I'm writing to ask for the support of your board for my re-election to a seat on the Dutchess County BOCES Board of Education. I'm finishing my second term on the BOCES board as a representative from the Weebatuck Northeast School District. I feel that during my time on this board, I and my fellow board members have raised this agency's level of performance as a provider of educational services for our component districts, while respecting the economic constraints we all face. No single individual can claim credit for these changes, but as a team, my fellow board members and I have tried to move our BOCES in a positive direction. We have brought in a dynamic new leadership, and together we have worked hard to develop a multi-year plan to enhance and expand the courses we offer for our student body and their unique circumstances. Our superintendent, Dr. Hooley, is actively engaged in a county-wide effort to make this BOCES the best service agency we can be. I ask for your board's vote so that I can continue as part of this team to work earnestly on the goals we have put in motion. I would appreciate it if you would share this letter with your other board members. Sincerely, Dale Culver of Millerton, New York. And I will, just in the interest of fairness, read the message we received by email from the other candidate from Weebatuck. Dear fellow Dutchess County, Rick Keller Coffey of the Rhinebeck Board of Education. Dear fellow Dutchess County School Board of Education members, I hope that you are well and your board and administration have been able to maintain quality staffing and programs after going through yet another difficult budget season. Like all of us, you probably had to make some difficult decisions that affect many people's lives, which of course is a real challenge when funds are so limited. On April 24th, Dutchess County School Boards will be faced with yet another important decision: who to choose in the BOCES School Board of Education vote. I am writing to you now to ask for your support in that election. 3 years ago, I had the honor of being elected to the Rhinebeck Board of Education. The board members and administration that I am lucky enough to work with are terrific, and together we have been able to get a lot accomplished. It is extremely gratifying to know that we have played a part in providing more of what our teachers need in order to better prepare our students for the 21st century. I would like to help do the same at BOCES. Having worked as a classroom teacher for more than 30 years, most of them in the Poughkeepsie City School District, I know how beneficial it can be to work with a Board of Education that has a clear understanding of the realities involved within the school day. It helps a board to have a broader view of the effects resulting from decisions that are made. My career has definitely given me that understanding, and it has helped me to be a better school board member in Rhinebeck. I'm sure that it would help me to make positive contributions to the efforts within BOCES as well. During my teaching career, there have been many students in my classes who also attended classes at BOCES. The opportunity to attend the available rich and varied courses greatly benefited my students, especially those who had trouble succeeding in a traditional school setting, as well as the students who were ready for more career-oriented coursework. BOCES has changed thousands of students' lives for the better. My goal in joining the BOCES board as a sitting local board member is to do what I can in making sure that BOCES continues to be a positive force for the people in our communities and for all of Dutchess County, while maintaining an understanding of the needs and financial concerns that member school districts have. I have devoted most of my adult life to supporting, promoting, and trying to create great public education. Even being involved with the Dutchess County School Boards Association, for which I am currently serving as its president, has been for the purpose of learning what the other districts in Dutchess County are doing successfully so that I can better serve my own district. My goal in running for a position on the BOCES Board of Education is to continue and to expand my commitment to public education. I'm asking your board to vote for me so that I'm able to do just that. Thank you for taking the time to read this email. It wound up being longer than I'd intended. Whether you vote for me or not, I congratulate you for your efforts in helping your district succeed. Sincerely, Richard Rick Keller Coffey, Rhinebeck Central School District. Now, we are prepared to...
And we didn't receive anything from either of the other candidates?
No, we didn't, at least I did not receive
Okay.
anything from them. So, just walk us through this. We're going to look at our ballots together,
Yeah.
correct?
So Dale Culver and Rick Keller Coffey, the authors of the two letters that you just read, are both running for a board seat on the BOCES board from Rhinebeck. So there can only be one board member for any particular district at one time. So we need a nominee for one of the three seats, and at some point it's either going to be Dale Culver or it's going to be Rick Keller Coffey. They can't both be elected, so maybe that's the easiest place to start, maybe.
Okay. So I request a motion to nominate one of those two gentlemen for... Yes.
I'd like to motion that we nominate Rick Keller Coffey.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor of...
Any discussion?
Yeah, any discussion? All those in favor of Rick Keller Coffey? Okay, that is 6 votes in favor. May I have a motion to cast one vote for Edward McCormick as a candidate in the annual election of members of the Dutchess County Board of Cooperative Education Services, BOCES?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 6 in favor. That motion passes. May I have a motion to cast one vote for Robert Rubin as a candidate in the annual election of members of the Dutchess County Board of Cooperative Education Services, BOCES.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? That is 6 in favor. That motion passes. Okay, thank you. May I have a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve a modification of the leave extension request granted to Morgan Labruto, commencing on January 25th, 2018, with such leave to be taken as paid medical leave through the period of disability as certified by a physician in writing, currently certified as April 23rd, 2018, to the extent of her accrued sick leave, and thereafter to grant additional unpaid childcare leave on a 0.6 FTE basis, and to provide services as a school social worker on a 0.4 FTE basis from April 25th, 2018 through the conclusion of the 2017-18 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just so everybody is aware, we had employed a long-term substitute school social worker who resigned from that long-term substitute position about a week ago, and in the process of trying to figure out how we would cover that position, there was a conversation between I believe Brett King and Morgan Labruto, and she was agreeable to come back on a paid basis for 0.4 FTE and to remain on her child rearing leave for the other 0.6 FTE. So that's basically why we're doing this at this point in the school year.
Thank you for that context. Any further discussion? All those in favor? That's 6 in favor. That motion passes. May I have a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to accept a donation from Rachel Decker, Mariana Lombardo, and Mia Cha to fund a spring 2018 early morning mathematics enrichment program for CLS students in grades K through 5, see attached, in the total amount of $1,440 as stipulated.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? We are incredibly grateful to the donors of this gift, and it will, of course, support some great work going on at Chancellor. All those in favor? That is unanimous. 76 people in favor. That motion passes. Thank you. May I have a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the appointment of additional enrichment program advisors for Chancellor Livingston Elementary School for the 2017-18 school year, see attached.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to point out to the board that there was one page in your packet, and there was a second page that was at your places this evening, so I want to make sure you're considering the individuals mentioned on both of those sheets before you act.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, that's 6 in favor. That motion passes. May I have a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to adopt the following charge in the establishment of a Citizens Advisory Committee for long-range planning? The Board of Education invites members of the Rhinebeck Central School District community to come forward with expressions of interest in participating in the RCSD Citizens Advisory Committee on long-range planning. Members of the Citizens Advisory Committee will be charged with working alongside members of the Board of Education's Long-Range Planning Committee to advise the board regarding significant opportunities for innovation in our schools, as well as priority setting for allocation of resources in the coming budget cycle and beyond. These discussions and deliberations will be guided by the mission, vision, and core values of the Rhinebeck Central School District, as well as documents produced by the Comprehensive District Education Plan, CDEP, team. Meetings will be held over the course of at least 3 evenings to be scheduled prior to the board's adoption of goals for the 2018-19 academic year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I just have to express my intense happiness that this may be about to happen. All those in favor? Okay, that is 6 people in favor. That That motion passes. May I have a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to extend the intermunicipal agreement with the town of Rhinebeck regarding facilities use through August 31st, 2019?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? We are grateful for this great agreement, this intermunicipal
I think
agreement.
it's about the 10th year we've had this in place, actually.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
No.
All those in favor? That is 6 in favor, that motion passes. May I have a motion upon the recommendation of the District Audit Committee to appoint EFPR as the external audit firm for the 2017-18 school year through the 2021-22 school year? Services include audit of RCSD financial statements in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the USA, audit of RCSD major federal programs, issuing of a report on compliance and internal controls over financial reporting, audit of RCSD's extra classroom activity fund annually, prepare letter to management detailing comments and suggestions for improvement in internal controls or general management techniques, prepare U.S. Form SF-SAC, deliver 25 copies of final reports and PDF version, attend a meeting with the audit committee to review the draft audit, management letter, and recommendations, and attend a meeting with the board at a regularly scheduled public meeting to review the results of the audit. The fees for the above services, that is the all-inclusive maximum annual fee for the years ending June 30th, 2018, $17,900. June 30th, 2019, $18,300. June 30th, 2020, $18,700. June 30th, 2021, $19,100, and June 30th, 2022, $19,500.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? We'd like to thank the community member who came forward to assist us in the deliberations over selecting our auditor moving forward. All those in favor? That is 6 in favor, that motion passes. May I have a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to accept the following award from the Rhinebeck Parent Teacher Student Organization, PTSO, in the total amount of $500 as follows. BMS Field Day Funds in the amount of $200 as stipulated. CLS Field Day Funds in the amount of $300 as stipulated.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? We are delighted to see this grant come through to continue the great tradition of Field Day at both of our schools. All those in favor? No? No?
No, I don't think we should get them.
We shouldn't have a Field Day?
No, a dunk tank.
Oh,
Second,
no, we already voted, Tom, sorry.
I second the dunk tank.
That motion passes. That motion passes.
With the dunk tank stipulation.
With the dunk tank.
I miss seeing the dunk tank. Okay, may I have a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the request for summer study grants 2018 in accordance with the Rhinebeck Teacher Association agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? It's fantastic to see all the good work that people are proposing to do over the summer. It's a delight to be able to support it. All those in favor? It's 6 in favor. That motion passes. May I have a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve additional coaches for the 2017-18 school year effective April 24th, 2018. Boys modified baseball, assistant coach, Ryan Sherwood, volunteer.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. That motion passes. May I have a motion to move into executive session to discuss employment history of a particular individual?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, that motion passes. We are moving into executive session. I don't know.